my favorite things hanging out here at the Baby Show is to meet people that I've known for years, those people that I respect. And one of those people is Lianne Phillipson, registered nutritionist and owner and author of Sprout Right. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here in the Media Hub in the Ask the Expert booth. And you're speaking here at the show this weekend. One of the things parents are often interested in finding out about is, when do we introduce solids and how do we do that?
It can be such a daunting time. Getting through the first 4 to 6 months of baby's life, feeding them either breast milk or formula, that has its challenges, and then it's time to start on food. It's really confusing because pediatricians and doctors sometimes say start at 6 months and then others say start at 4 months. So really, I look to the parent, and they're the expert of their baby. How have they been doing up until the point of when you're ready to start solid? Are they actually interested? Do they really want this food? And if you start it, you know that you can stop at the same time if there's things that go on. Ideally, I do recommend 6 months of age. The World Health Organization and Health Canada both say that it has not changed since 2001 and 2005. So do stick to that. Their milk is their main source of nutrition. So their breast or their formula is their main source of nutrition until closer to a year, when maybe they'll move on to cow's milk or another alternative milk. And starting solids is such a fun time. It's an exploration in food. And when I say that to people and they think, oh, well, I thought I had to give them a certain amount and I have to do this and I have to do this at this time and that time. But when you actually sit back and say, okay, this is food, this is tasty. And what I want to happen with all babies is to open that palate, is I want those taste buds to have a party. Tasty foods, whether it's pear or butternut squash, or you're giving them something like parsnip, which you'll never find in any packaged food. So I'm all about trying to make that food for your baby. But when you offer them the real tastes and flavors of homemade food, it makes such a difference. There's tons of antioxidants in there. So when you start and you've kind of going in for that first 2 weeks, I just say just nice and slow and steady in the first 2 weeks. And I do like fruits and vegetables going in first. It's easier on the digestive system. The cereals, although still recommended, are not the best first food for the baby. The iron absorption is really not very good. So I suggest getting in some homemade chicken broth or stock. Make it at home. There's a recipe on sproutright.com to make it at home and use that to smooth out your purees, and that gives them tons of iron. And then bring in the meat and bring in the egg yolk and all of the other foods. Yeah.
And you know what, you raised a really great point. Enjoy this process, because it is a bit of a party. And I remember as a mom, the laughter that would come of watching the first experience with the food.
I know, and their faces
eat.
I remember Plum. Plum was like, what are you doing to me, Mom? But it was another experience with the food, and that's really what we want to have. If you sit down to a gorgeous meal and you've got all these different tastes and flavors, it is so much fun, and it takes the stress away from the situation.
And I'm a foodie as an adult, and I think it's because my parents provided me whole food, all kinds of whole food, all different colors of food, because they did that when I was young.
So important. And then add in cinnamon and bring in garlic and cilantro and put a little squeeze of lemon juice in there as well, because it really does change it up. And then mix some foods together. Avocado and banana and blueberry and pear, that's one of the recipes in my book, which is just delicious. It's so good.
Absolutely.
You really, the sky's the limit when it comes to these foods.
Well, I know we could talk forever. I'm sure you will come back and do some more with us here in the Ask the Expert. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.